Sophia Bennett, the 28-year-old CEO of Bennett Automotive, stood beside her silver Porsche inside her luxury dealership. For weeks, the sports car had refused to perform properly despite countless inspections. Every senior technician promised results, yet every attempt ended with another excuse. Her patience disappeared faster than the company's growing repair bills. The dealership buzzed with frustrated engineers carrying laptops and diagnostic equipment. One recommended replacing the engine, another blamed the transmission, while a third suggested expensive electronic modules. Sophia folded her arms and sighed deeply. "I've heard enough theories. I want someone who can actually solve this problem today." Across town, Ethan Walker locked the doors of his small repair shop after finishing another long day. His 11-year-old daughter Lily waited nearby doing homework on an old wooden bench. Since losing his wife, Ethan had worked every possible hour, determined to give Lily a comfortable future, despite endless financial struggles and difficult circumstances. The following morning, Sophia's Porsche unexpectedly broke down only 2 blocks from Ethan's garage. Smoke drifted lightly from beneath the hood. A tow truck couldn't arrive for another hour, so one employee suggested asking the nearby mechanic for help. Sophia reluctantly agreed, expecting very little from such a modest repair shop. Ethan walked outside, carrying only a flashlight and a small toolbox. He greeted Sophia politely, before listening carefully as she described the problem. Looking around the worn garage, Sophia laughed jokingly. "Fix my Porsche, and I'll marry you." Nearby employees laughed with her, believing the impossible challenge would entertain everyone present. Ethan smiled politely without responding to the joke. Instead, he slowly opened the Porsche's hood and carefully examined every detail. He ignored the expensive computer systems completely. His eyes moved toward one corner of the engine compartment, where a faint smell and tiny stain immediately caught his experienced attention without hesitation. Instead of removing major engine components, Ethan crouched beside the vehicle and inspected a hidden vacuum line tucked beneath the intake assembly. It looked perfectly normal until he gently bent it. A hairline crack appeared. "There's your problem," he said calmly. Everyone stared, unconvinced by something appearing so insignificant. Sophia crossed her arms confidently. "My engineers inspected every hose twice." Ethan nodded respectfully. "They looked at it. They didn't test it under pressure." He replaced the damaged hose using an identical part costing less than $20, then tightened every connection with careful precision before stepping back confidently and patiently. He turned the ignition key. The Porsche instantly came alive with a smooth, powerful engine note that echoed throughout the street. Warning lights vanished from the dashboard. Everyone fell silent. Even the dealership technicians exchanged confused looks, unable to understand how such a simple repair solved weeks of frustrating failures completely. Sophia slowly walked around the running Porsche in disbelief. "That's impossible," she whispered. Ethan smiled gently. "Engines don't care about price tags. They only care about proper diagnosis." Lily proudly watched her father from the garage doorway, knowing she had seen that calm confidence solve impossible problems many times before. Embarrassed by her earlier joke, Sophia approached Ethan with a sincere smile. "Looks like I owe you more than an apology." Ethan laughed softly. "A thank you is enough." She admired his humility. Most people would have reminded her about the marriage joke. Ethan simply handed back the keys without mentioning it again. Curious, Sophia asked where Ethan learned such remarkable skills. He pointed toward an old framed photograph hanging inside the garage office. It showed him standing beside racing cars many years earlier. "I spent 15 years building performance engines before opening this little shop," he explained quietly, while cleaning his grease-covered hands carefully. Sophia looked surprised. "Why leave such a successful career?" Ethan glanced toward Lily. When my wife passed away, my daughter needed her father more than race teams needed another engine builder. Lily smiled softly, hearing words she had always known but never fully appreciated until that quiet, emotional moment together. The dealership engineers respectfully examined Ethan's repair themselves. They confirmed the cracked vacuum hose, created false sensor readings that confused every electronic system. Because computers displayed multiple unrelated errors, technicians assumed catastrophic engine failure instead of investigating the simplest mechanical possibility hidden beneath countless expensive assumptions and complicated diagnostic reports. Word spread rapidly across the city. Customers visited Ethan's garage after hearing about the mechanic who repaired a luxury Porsche that an entire dealership couldn't fix. Business improved overnight. Families trusted him because his reputation grew through honesty, patience, and practical knowledge instead of flashy advertising campaigns or exaggerated promises. A week later, Sophia returned, not because her Porsche needed another repair, but because she had an important proposal. "Would you consider training my technicians?" she asked sincerely. "Technology changes every year, but experience like yours cannot be downloaded into a computer." Ethan thoughtfully considered her unexpected offer before answering. "I'll help," Ethan replied, "but only if every apprentice spends time understanding engines with their hands before trusting diagnostic screens." Sophia immediately agreed. She realized the greatest lesson wasn't about repairing luxury cars. It was about respecting craftsmanship, listening carefully, and never underestimating someone because of appearances or humble surroundings. Months later, Bennett Automotive became known for honest repairs instead of expensive guesses. Customer satisfaction reached record levels. Young technicians often visited Ethan's garage to learn practical skills impossible to find inside textbooks. Lily happily greeted every student, proudly introducing them to the father who taught wisdom through patience and quiet example. During the company's annual celebration, Sophia stood before hundreds of employees and smiled warmly at Ethan. "The day I joked about marrying the man who fixed my Porsche," she admitted, "I thought I was making everyone laugh. Instead, I met the person who reminded me that true greatness wears humility, not expensive suits." The audience applauded as Ethan stood beside Lily with quiet pride. He never became famous for chasing attention or proving people wrong. His greatest reward was watching his daughter smile, knowing honesty, kindness, and real skill had built a future stronger than money alone. Sometimes the smallest repair creates the biggest life-changing lesson.